Hello all, I am back with another one. This time I'm working on a little Gatetown is what I'm thinking when I'm thinking of for this. Just needed to put something on this patch of built up wall section here I have, so that's pretty much that. So first thing I do when I start out with this is start like laying out like a path, and laying out this path is where I realize like, yeah, this would be a good spot to be like the old gate town. Like coming from the path up the mountain, you enter this town and there'd be like shops and merchants and like a tavern and the inn. And it serves as exactly that, the gate town, because it's right next to the main gatehouse to the central castle in the region. And then I'm gonna make a path over that river and ice there to the actual location of the actual city that I'm gonna stage around the birth of the castle, as I'm doing. But yeah, need to make a great town. And so the design idea is to with this I have making the like flame beacon brazier whatever, like a flag. I had the idea of thinking of like Lord of the Rings when like the beacon is lit, Gondor calls for aid. I thought of that, so I was like, yeah, I want that. So I might have another one. I probably will have other ones. I definitely will. Don't. Yeah. Um. Point is that I needed to make that, so then I make a tunnel here, and this tunnel connects to the dam, so that way you can actually get to the dam, and that's important because the dam will be like managed by like the kingdom, you know. Um, yeah, the thing with this gate town is like it's just meant to be like the periphery between the kingdom and the other nations almost. Like, yeah, if you're another nation and you're getting trade with this one, you go through the gate town most likely, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So I start building the central tavern, and a lot of this video, um at least until like the 7-minute mark, will just be this one building here because I'm deciding on the style I want. And I was going for like that classic like medieval look, but like I wanted to like make it like, well, this is this cold northern mountain peak region. I want to emphasize that, and I thought like, oh, let me think of like Nordic architecture where like the trusses are crossing over at the top. So that's what I go for with that. And I was like, you know, that's good. I'll just have the roofs be that type of structure style, but it's mostly like medieval, like whatever thatch and like wood in between, you know, within the constraints of the game. And as far as like building like villages and houses and stuff, it's something I'm really not comfortable with. So I was in like a call with my friend who's I think is much better at this stuff, and he was giving me lots of tips on like how to situate and design these things, and I took a lot of his ideas from some of his past builds. So credit to him. I didn't say I take, but with permission, of course. I wouldn't take anyone's stuff, right? But like mostly just like design processes. Like I'm not good with these wooden structures, I guess, are like so uniquely shaped and like asymmetrical and like not like squares, boxes, or whatever, or circles, or like that's what's always made me pretty good at like castle shapes, because it's very organized, symmetric shapes that you can introduce asymmetry with more symmetric shapes. And I've been good at that stuff. And a lot of this, what challenges me with these villages is these shapes. I've just never been good at them. And I think what I've taken here and from the guidance I had, I got a really good stab at. Certainly, I would say some of my best village buildings I've made. And yeah, I think there's a lot of room here for me to grow from this. And you know, certainly when I populate the rest of this entire continent with other villages and housing, it's my experience from building this should surely leak into that. So yeah, that's something I was happy with, and like I needed to do this because like a lot of what stopped me from really branching out and making anything else besides, well, castles, as my friend likes to call me out for, is that like I'm just uncomfortable with this. And in doing this, like this is just like such a long section for only like 2 real main buildings, because the one building is just like not so much a housing building. It's you'll see it here at like the 7-minute mark. I'll start working on like the watch point building that's like managed like by the kingdom, because like that's how I wanted to shape the architecture, I guess. Like there's buildings that are like kingdom buildings that are like managed by like the royal crown and whatnot, whatever, and then there's buildings that are like citizen built, but like they're in a style, I guess, right? But like like I want like a style, because it's like that, right? Like government buildings would be of a consistent style versus like civilian buildings. Like that's what I was thinking of, like royal buildings, whatever. Yeah, that's where I'm going with that. So like this is like the tavern, so like I'm making like this porch, and I spent so many like time on making that like porch like gable thing like actually look nice, and I just was so conflicted. And even if like the tables, like I finally placed barrels, but like I tried like 5 different table designs, and I was like, I'll just flip barrels over, that looks good. Yeah, you might see that a few times. I'll switch it to like nighttime, and just to like, because like when I was building this, I wanted to see how it looked with like the night lighting, you know. And the shot at the very end of this video will be that. And yeah, we just had a peek inside where I was working on the interior. Yeah, that's not finished, so that's why I only got like a slight peek. Here is like the gatehouse watch point thing, and you see I literally steal it from that section in the castle and put it here. Ignore the funky camera movements, just accept that. That's how they look. But the point is that yeah, I make this like watch point area, so I like change it around, empty it out, hollow it, and get ready. Make like a staircase up, of course, and then roof it off. And then I start working on like banister, but like I end up scrapping it because I just don't like it. I go for a much simpler thing where like when I add all these floors, I realize I don't really need a banister because the wall acts as the banister for the most part. So then I go and I snatch some of my like barrack style bedding and stuff from the castle build, and I just populate all the floors with this, and it's like, oh, okay, then it's like makes sense. You have lots of soldiers, or lots of the kingdom's like infantry and stuff could like be living in there and stationed in there, and like yeah, have somewhere to go and rest after like they're doing their job, whatever they're doing here in the Gatetown. Or it's like, you know, like maintaining order, maintaining the kingdom's appearance and whatnot. I thought about adding like a training path for like some of the soldiers, but like I kind of want to make like a full-on actual like barracks, a proper barracks where most of the kingdom's soldiers would be like trained and stuff, and like that sort of infrastructure I feel is important. And then yeah, moving on from that, I move on to this section. Like this is just in our home house, whatever. Like I had them divvied up into these sections so like I can make them individual, and this is a good challenge because like in the end they all look like they're one building, but they're not. They're separate homes, and I was really happy with that, because like that's something I see a lot of good builders do, is like they make these shapes and they combine them, and they all look like they're like one long chain of like one house, but like you could like tell it's like, oh, those are like separate houses, and they're just kind of sandwiched together because of the spacing of like, you know, like in like a city or whatnot, you know. Like this is like fantasy style medieval. Like I don't know if actual medieval buildings were like this, but at least for the sake of my designs, yes, they're fantasy style medieval buildings, I would say. Like, yeah, like I don't even know how accurate it is to say that like Nordic architecture was like even anything more than just maybe like almost like a a tent almost, if anything, from what my understanding of Norse style like architecture. It's like mostly like fantasy that carries it, because like from my understanding of like Norse culture, it's like they mostly like traveled, like the shipping and like the ships and stuff is what actually makes sense. But moving on from that, I spent a lot of time here trying to figure out how I want to make like the point here for like the roof. I think he might have saw me like destroy that like one wood column like 15 times because I just was not liking it and I kept changing it. But eventually I get the shape I want. And then over here I like making like the like balcony and like changing the roof and that, and I eventually raise it, and then I add some other details and stuff. And alright, it might be here actually. No, this is just decorating the back of the build. Everyone's got to know the back of the build. It deserves love too. Everyone knows that. But yeah, it's pretty much just this is like the last major housing section in this section. It's kind of small actually, because it's like there really only is like 3 actual spaces for like whoever like lives in like this Gatetown almost, and like it seems. And I guess that's like what I was trying to get at, is like it's like a sort of like an entryway and like a resting point almost between the actual kingdom, you know. Like there's a few necessities like the inn. Like actually that's what I'm making this building for. It's supposed to be the inn. And like I'm making some stables here. So I make some stables here. It's gonna have like a market. It's just like an in between, like if you have goods and you're trying to get them to the actual like main castle kingdom, you go for the Gatetown, and that's like the whole winding path. Right? Like if you have your ship docks and you have no goods to go to the kingdom, they go up to this Gatetown and they get either sent to the castle or offloaded and sent in through this Gatetown. And that's sort of where this acts as it's a transitionary like settlement almost. So yeah, I make these stables and I switch it to night because let's get a nice look at everything. So right now at this point everything's pretty much finished as far as the exterior goes, so that's all nice and good. So I start working on some market stands. I'm not at first, like I start with like I want to do like a nice stripe thing, and then as I realized, oh wait, this is gonna have to curve, I didn't quite know how to do that, so I went for like checkerboard. I thought like, okay, that could look nicer and make more sense than as opposed to the curved straight, like making curved straight lines. I just didn't have the space for it. So like I've start flooding these with like barrel storage and like whatever wares each stand is selling, right? I put there like a thing with like potions and stuff, and I place item frames that I make invisible and put like whatever their product is on it. And yeah, that's pretty much this. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I know it took a minute, but I mean, I was pretty busy as always. Yeah, in the next one, I'm gonna make the path to the Center Kingdom and start laying out the groundwork for the Central Kingdom, and that should be all good. And then once that's all nice and built up, it's gonna be we're gonna be moving on to the end game. Then like I'll just almost have to look and find for anything I want to do with this region, and then it might actually be finished. Wait, no, it can't be finished. I still have to make the port. Okay, after I make the main Central Kingdom, I have to make the port. Okay, and the port town. Okay, I still have some work to do. Okay, I still have some work to do in this region yet, but that's besides the point. The point is, now the video can finally be done. Yeah. See y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.